I'm going to call this meeting to order. If everybody can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the February 3rd Planning Commission meeting. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Bergman? Present. Commissioner Gutierrez?
Present.
Commissioner Marsters?
Present.
Vice Chair Silberman?
Present.
Chair Harper Pedersen?
Present.
I'm not touching the microphone after you destroyed that one.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is. Thank you, Lisa. Public comment. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the listed agenda. Is anybody here to speak on an item not on the listed agenda? Okay, seeing nobody, we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. We are looking at the January 6, 2014 minutes. Do any commissioners have changes or additions to the January 6 minutes? Lisa, do you have a change?
Through the chair, there is just one typo that I see being at the new year. It should be January 6, 2014, rather than 13.
I sure missed that. Yep. Great.
Move approval with that modification.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Minutes are approved. Thank you, everybody. And we're going to move on to our next item, which is new business. We have 1 Circle Star Way, consideration of design review approval of 2 freeway-oriented signs, wall-mounted, internally illuminated for Sprint and SoftBank. Hi, Gavin.
Good evening. Yeah. Sorry, my eyes. There we go. I need a clearer screen so that I can see it. There we go. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gavin Monahan. I'm an assistant planner here with the City of San Carlos. I'm challenged with the PowerPoint presentation tonight. I will be showing you the application in front of you, which is for 2 freeway-oriented wall-mounted signs for the Circle Star facility. So this is 1 Circle Star Way. There are 2 buildings that front the freeway. And the application in front of you tonight are for wall-mounted signs up at the top of the buildings for both Sprint and for SoftBank. They're a joint application. They're coming in on the same request. So as you may know, that Circle Star complex is owned by the county, and there are various elements of the building's floors and sections that are being privately leased to local and national companies. So we're happy to welcome SoftBank to the City of San Carlos and also the additional office space for Sprint. It's important for them to have freeway-oriented signs. It's a great way to broadcast their presence here in San Carlos and also advertise for their goods and services. So we're excited about that. The application is for 1 sign for each of the buildings, for the north building and the south building. The signs will actually be oriented on the north building to the north side of it, on the southern-ish building to the southern side. So they're symmetrically opposed and up at the top where they have the best visibility from the freeway. The Circle Star complex is about a little bit over 5 acres. The zoning is PD9, which is our plan development, and it's specifically governed under Ordinance 1230. So that was the plan of development. If you look through the ordinance, it has specificity about the original design and parking requirements, building heights, and whatnot. There are some other ordinances associated with these buildings that govern the hotel and some other applications that came through at later phases. But the original ordinance that governs Circle Star Way is 1230. The general plan designation is general commercial industrial. This is our relatively new zoning designation that catches a variety of different types of uses. The request, there's 2 requests. So the first is a freeway-oriented sign for Sprint. It's approximately 5.5 feet high and 13.5 feet wide, and that includes a logo. They both have logos. It's white acrylic individual letters. This is something we like to see, are the channel letters, the individual cutout letters that are backlit or facelit. They give a nice 3-dimensional look, and they're just more attractive and a little more substantial on buildings, especially with the size and scale, it's important to have those. And this will also include the Sprint logo for a total of just a little bit under 50 square feet. The second sign is for SoftBank. It's a little bit larger. It's 6 feet high by approximately 27 feet wide. It also includes a logo. The SoftBank logo is kind of a square box with 2 lines, and for a total square footage of just a little bit under 103 square feet. I'll show you a picture of this. In your packet, so this is the Sprint sign. This is from the applicant. I just clipped it out and put it on there. It has their logo on the right. And this is the SoftBank sign. In your packet, you'll see that the applicants provided a building-mounted mock-up to show you a visual photo simulation of how it would look. And they also did it, if you notice, a day and a night. So they show them illuminated at night as well as in the daytime. It's nice to see that. It gives you kind of an idea what to expect once they go up on the buildings and they're illuminated. So we have required findings for approval. This is, I think, one of our first new signs under our updated sign ordinance. For a while, our sign ordinance carried forth some older zoning terminology, our architectural review board, and a few other things like that. And we completed the update of the sign part of our ordinance in December, I believe. And so this reflects the new language that's more in keeping with the rest of the terms that we use for architectural review or design review in place of architectural review. And recognizing that the Planning Commission covers all that, there's no longer an architectural review board. So if you're a seasoned planning commissioner, you may see some slightly different wording in the staff report and also on the findings of approval. So there are basically 4 findings that need to be made. The application in front of you meets all 4 of those findings, should you decide to approve the project tonight. So one of the important ones to talk about just briefly is that the compatibility. So we're looking that the signs match the buildings, not necessarily match in similarity, but they meet the scale and massing and are appropriate for the size of the site in which that they're proposed. In this case, it's a 5-acre site with 2 rather large buildings for the city of San Carlos. So the larger widths and heights of the signs are appropriate. They need to be that size so that you can see them from the freeway at a certain passing speed without delaying or staring at them for too long. So that's important to take note of. And in this case, staff has done a review and finds that the signs are appropriate for their placement. Staff is recommending approval of the signs. I'm certainly here to answer questions you may have about the Circle Star complex or this particular sign request. Also, the applicant is here tonight, and he submitted a speaker card, and I would make him available to answer specific questions you might have, or also if he wants to add any specificity that I didn't include in my presentation.
Does anybody have any questions for Gavin at this point? Gavin, I just have one. Did any concerns come in from the public at all?
No, good question. We did a 10-day public notice. In this case, it's a 300-foot radius, and we did not receive anything written via phone or email. It's not unusual for freeway-oriented signs not to draw too much resident or business owner concern. So,
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's implied, I don't know that it's expressed, Sprint and SoftBank are tenants of the building?
correct. Yes, they are
Okay.
tenants of the building. Yes.
All right.
Any other questions for Gavin? Okay. Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to come up and speak? And it's Terry Long?
Really just here to represent the applicant, the tenants, and to answer any questions. One item that I would like to add is that the lighting of these letters is with LED lighting, so it's very low voltage, which is commonplace today, rather than high voltage of neon. So,
Okay.
and anybody have any questions on?
Does anybody have any questions of the applicant?
The only question I have is about the existing SoftBank sign that's up there right now,
Which is vinyl, which will come down.
which is coming down.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's simply vinyl, so they
Okay.
can see this.
That was what I was asking. Is it essentially just there to show
Like a
what the new
placemat.
sign,
Yeah.
what the new sign would look
Yes,
like?
and David, I agree. It was the Rams that were the 49ers.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Unless the commissioners have any comments, I'd love to entertain a motion.
I'll motion.
Through the chair, was there any public comment? I wasn't sure.
Terry was the only
Just the
person
only
that
one. I'm
had-
sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move that the Planning Commission approve the request for design review approval of approximately 48.7 square feet for Sprint and 102.65 square feet for SoftBank for a total of 151.35 square feet of sign area at One Circle Star based on the required findings and for the reasons as outlined in the staff report.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody.
It's the echo.
Okay. May we move on to reports, correspondence, and general information? Reports on recent city council actions.
Good evening, Chair Harper Pedersen. Staff doesn't have any updates regarding recent City Council actions.
Thank you. Planning Commission comments or reports?
Is there a new design for Transit Village that is coming down? I heard through the rumor mill that there might be.
It's my understanding that there has been conversation with the city. I personally haven't been part of those conversations, but it's my understanding that Legacy is working on a redesign given the City Council's condition to remove the fourth story. So I will check in with the Community Development Director and see if there's anything more specific that I can offer the Planning Commission at your next hearing.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was wondering whether the appellant from our last hearing appealed to the city council.
No, it was dropped.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Silberman, it was withdrawn. There was a conversation between Julia Orizem and the Descalzos about looking at the possibility for the Descalzos to change their roof design. I wasn't part of those conversations, but based upon that, I believe was the premise for Ms. Orizem withdrawing her application.
Great. Thank you. Any other Planning Commission comments or reports? Okay. Correspondence?
Staff hasn't received any correspondence from the public for the commission.
Great. Thank you. And then planning staff comments, reports, and updates on current projects.
I have a few updates for the commission on that item. With respect to projects, I know last time one of the commissioners or the commission had asked staff about the status of the Sprint wireless modification at 260 Shelford, and at that time staff informed the commission that they asked for a February extension. Since that time, I have received calls from some of the acoustical experts who are preparing for a noise study to be updated. So I know there has been movement on Sprint's part to update the noise ordinance. So based upon that, I expect that they would be submitting something to us in the near future, which we would then bring back to the commission. There is a project that has been formally submitted at the address of 1673 Laurel Street, and that's between Central Avenue and St. Francis. It's on the east side of Laurel Street. This is an existing vacant lot. They're proposing a mixed-use project, four-story project, which looks like it will be coming to the commission on March 3rd. Aside from that, there are a couple of other projects coming forward to the Planning Commission. One is a new home on 1845 Carmelita, and a small project at 1532 School Street, which involves an alternative setback from the stream. The code allows for that upon approval by the Planning Commission. We also have a pre-application for a project at 777 Walnut, and that's between Cherry and Olive, very nearby. And that's also on the east side of Walnut Street. And the applicant, I think, is in the process of doing their due diligence with public outreach first before they actually submit their application. And this is for a larger project, infill project, in the city's mixed-use downtown core district. And the pre-application is currently proposing condominiums because their ownership, they would be subject to the below-market rate ordinance. And as soon as I have more information and it's formally submitted, I can update the Planning Commission, just in terms of kind of seeing what's coming through the Planning Division. I think in your packet I provided some information about several upcoming lectures geared to the Planning Commission that are offered, I believe, by the American Planning Association. I know some of you have signed up for those. I believe Commissioner Bergman has. If you have any questions about that or need any assistance, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, these are, anytime that we get opportunities for training, we'll make sure to forward those on to the Commission. And then lastly, to conclude, along the same lines, the League of California Cities sponsors a Planning Commissioners Academy every year. And I am currently trying to make it our goal every year to send the vice chair and the chair every year to this event. And for this year, it's occurring very close to us in the city of Burlingame, so it's very geographically convenient. It occurs March 26th and 27th. Those are the full days, and on Friday is a half day. This type of seminar travels throughout the state. For example, last year was in the city of Pasadena. So we'll see where it ends up next year, but I'll be sure to let next year's chair and vice chair know well in advance so you can try and plan that for your schedules, because usually these are full-day conferences. But I think they're very useful to attend, and we'll make sure to budget that for future years. I think that's it, unless you have any questions of me.
Great. Does anybody have any questions of Lisa? Sounds like we've got a lot coming up. Thank you. Okay, well, unless there's anything else, I would like to go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:18. Wow. Yeah.